here for the party. Trust me, we just getting started. The sound, the vibe, I feel so alive. I'm only here for the party. Trust me, we just getting started. The sound, the vibe, big bass, that's for the hottest. I'm only here for the party.
All right, great people. It's your boy, Mind Dialogue. Once again, we back on the scene. A little bit serene, y'all, but always relatively clean, y'all. To all the charting schemes, y'all. We about to load up this chart here. I was speaking with one of my friends via text and just letting them know about there are some new videos updated on the page. They're really keen to trading. They're really good with analyzing SPY. I actually learned some things from them as well as it relates to SPY analysis, so on and so forth. But he mentioned about doing an analysis on SoFi. So let's see. This is going to be purely fresh off the dome. I haven't done any prior analysis or studying on SoFi. So we're going to do it fresh. I have looked at it before in the past, but it's been a while. So there might be some stuff on there looks purely clean. I haven't really done anything. Nothing really. Only thing I have is the indicator on it that shows the ADR zones. Let me first of all change this color because this thing is too bright. God. Too bright. And then we're gonna take it off. We're gonna hide this indicator. So I'm gonna go on a much higher time frame than I typically do, so that we can be able to get the really big picture of what's going on with SoFi and what we can potentially anticipate going forward, particularly for the long term. I would say anywhere from 3-5 to the next 10 years. I would say the monthly and even the yearly will offer a great idea of what that should look like for us. Again, this is investing and trading, so there's nothing guaranteed, nothing set in stone, but you can do some analysis to help improve the probability of what you're trying to do in terms of your investments and your trade. So I am going to go on, let's do the weekly chart. We're going to go on the weekly. We're going to scrunch the charts up a little bit. And as you can see, when we go on the weekly, we're able to capture basically the entire existence of SoFi. It looks like SoFi was started, pretty new, back in 2021 or during the pandemic. So I think we can probably go down on a lower time frame. Let's go on. Well, let's go on the weekly first. So this shows an entire snapshot of the entire existence of SoFi. It's a pretty new company by a lot of different criteria, right? So we're in 2025 of July, and this started in October of 2021. So they're not even a full 4 years old yet. So so that to give you a picture. So what you can see is, from what this chart tells me, it looks like there were a lot of private seed venture capitalist investors, like pre-seed, before this even hit the market. There were a lot of people who invested. And the reason I think so is because once they IPO'd or did their initial public offering, where they were placed on the stock market so that individuals could invest with them on the market, they sold off pretty much right away. They opened, popped up, and then sold off. They got as high at, this is crazy. This is ridiculous. Yeah. this is out of control. They IPO'd around $400, went as high as 477, and then went all the way down here to 90. This is out of control. Like, I would not invest in something like this. There's some strategies you could do with options to earn income off of it. But yeah, if you're gonna invest in this, you would need to really be strategic on when you're gonna get your entry, because look what happened down here. Like, there was a consolidation for a minute. So let's see if we can capture the actual bodies of this consolidation so we can see like what happened. We're gonna not extend this to the right, and then we're gonna make this a little bit lighter, just slightly, and then we are going to make the border a little less thick. So let's bring this. So look at what happened with SoFi, right? It IPO'd really high in the 400s, went to almost 500, and then they sold it off completely. So probably a lot of early investors took their money back, right? So that they can either make whatever profit based on their investment, break even, or potentially suffered a loss. And then maybe you had some people who just never sold because, like, whatever, I invested in this for the long haul, I'm gonna sit through the shenanigans. But if you did, it is a lot of hurt that you endured, because we literally consolidated in the range from $86 to $167 for a good minute. It looks like from April of 2022 all the way of October of 2024. You know, something's going on here. Is this the correct SoFi? Because these prices, these numbers seem off to me. I wonder if they had like a reverse stock split or something like that. Let me see here real quick, because these numbers look off from what I know SoFi to be. Let's see. Here we go. I was looking at hold on. My bad, y'all. I don't know what SoFi I was looking at, but I was definitely looking at the wrong one. This is the SoFi that makes sense. I'm bad, y'all. Because I was like, what? I don't remember SoFi. In the back of my mind, I was like, did SoFi get that high? And did they do like a reverse stock split? Because those numbers just look crazy. This is the SoFi that makes sense to me. All right. So this is Sofi Technologies. I wonder what the difference is between the other one. Nonetheless, it kind of did a similar thing, to be honest. They opened up at around, what's that? Okay, so they came out in November 2020, did their initial public offering or IPO. They opened around $11 in the cent, got as high as $28. Kind of did some whipsawing, right? So you can see like this. You can see this descending type of pattern taking place here. Let's see if we can capture the accuracy of this trend line here. Let's see if we can get all the spots to hit. Let's pull it down here. So you got this descending thing, little channel here that it ping-ponged in between, and then they gave you like this W pattern that hit a resistance and then got sent down. All right. So this is on the weekly. So I mean, it did a similar thing where it was still some type of consolidation. It was like two different structures of consolidation. So let's see here. You had like your initial. Let's see. This is the bulk of the trading right here. You had your initial consolidation, and they kind of like try to manipulate inside and out of it, right? So if we extend it, that was essentially their base right there. But they also kind of did a consolidation here too. So, but it was kind of, I would say, more offset. Right. So when they IPO, they shot up. Folks took profit, or they did a lot of selling, it pushed the price down. They bought back up at whatever these key levels were for them, went back up. You got your 2 reference points for the channel. So you just want to practice these things. I'm going to reiterate them every time so that you can get in the habit of like, and again, like this is my strategy and how I do my analysis and you don't have to do this. I'm just saying like whatever analysis strategy or approach you're using, you want to see what the consistent patterns are so that you can be able to identify them really quickly. Excuse me. So you want to see where you get your reference points hit at, right? And you see, again, this similar thing happens where like you got your 2 reference points down bottom hit before you get your 2 reference points up top. Then they kind of operated in this descending channel, broke down below it, went into this consolidation. Let's see, from April 2022 to like May 2023, they popped out of it a little bit, then did like a little lopsided type of consolidation, descending, another light, right? Same concept. Literally the same concept. Let's change this blue so we can see the consistency and like what's happening here. Same concept, y'all. Right? You have these channels and consolidation areas taking place, and look what happens. Right? So if you were looking to invest in SoFi, well, it really depends on like where you would have become knowledgeable or just when you found out about it. Because if you were in like, let's say you found out about SoFi in April 2022. Let me see how much time we got. 18 minutes. April of 2022. You know, it would have been a little difficult to tell whether it was time to jump in or not. You would have to do a whole bunch of other analysis and things like that. But like if you entered in April of 2022, you got stuck in a consolidation until, you know, over a year, because the range, literally the highest it went was 864, the lowest it went was 429. That's not a bad, you know, that's not the worst range. Like if you're playing options and you can really catch good entries, or if you are doing the investment, if you can get in on the good entries. But for the most part, that's not a lot of price action for like over a year. That's not really appealing for over a year. Let's see what their average true range and daily true range is. It looks like they are, okay. See, their daily true range is like $1.39, which is not the worst for, you know, how much the stock is. The average true range is 89 cents. And I'll go into that. I'm going to go into like what that actually means. The average true range, daily true range. I just got to do a little additional research. I don't want to throw out information that may not be accurate. So, but essentially what it is like on any given day, like the range that the stock is going to move, from top to bottom or from bottom to top, whatever, like the entire range. So it might go down to a low and then it goes and shoots for a high, it typically won't, at least for right now, based on what the indicator's saying, it won't really go outside of that $1.39 range. So this is kind of what happened with SoFi. So let's see. So what I would tell someone, right, if I was watching this, and let's say, again, it would really depend on where we started looking at the analysis for this. Let's say let me put a vertical line so I can kind of show. Like, let's say we got in like here, or like, let's say we started looking here, right? No, let's say we started, let's say we started looking here. I'm going to make this a different color and a little darker. Let's make this purple. So let's say we started looking here when this purple line came up. We could have captured like a consolidation that already started. So you would have to be careful where you would be looking to get in at, because we broke out of the consolidation here for a moment, 761 to a high of 1166. That's not a bad move, but then they kind of came down. They started making lower highs, and lower highs are essentially when they make a significant swing high, the next significant swing high is lower than that. They're both swing highs, but this is lower, right? And then lower, and then you get, so you would have to like be watching this channel. You would have to set up a couple things to really try to detect. Now, you wouldn't be wrong to try to enter once this closed outside of this channel, because they went up and made a high. It would just depend on the type of trader or investor you are. So if you're really in it for the long haul, let's say 5-10 years, then you don't really care when they pull back, because they started operating in this channel, and you get your redemption here in September 2024, because we broke out of this channel, got support, and then we started shaking, right? So investing is really a patient game. And if you believe in something, you look at the balance sheets, you see that a company has cash flow, and they just need time to shake out the jitters and get things straight. And you do your analysis, then you just gotta, stay 10 toes down, basically. Because if you were patient and you got in, if you were really watching this and did your analysis, you got in. They did their kind of fake little breakout a couple times here, but you saw that they were operating inside of this channel, and then they just started getting support, popped out of it, got support, and just went bonkers, right, for a nice move up, to where it looks like now they're trying to go and address all-time highs again, which is up here at 27. So that's what I would be looking at. I'm going to take some of these drawings off for a moment. Let's see how much time we got left. 12 minutes. So let's see here. So we opened, IPO, when it made this all-time high, came down and made this important swing low. So, me, I would want to do some measuring just to see what things are looking like. So let me get up in this noise here and see what's going on. Right, so you can see why I love the Fibonacci retracement tool, because we started our one measurement, right? So we started at one right there at $15.17 and pulled it up to here at the high, right? So now I'm using the Fibonacci retracement tool literally for its true intended purpose, which is to see the levels that are retracing below my starting point. Remember, I started at one at $15.17, and I pulled it up to zero at $28. Its all-time high at 30, I believe. And then it gave me levels retracing in the opposite direction, right? It gave me this 1.27 level, this 1.41 level, and this level right here, which I consider the discount level. And why do I think it's the discount level? Is because this is where you get all the shenanigans taking place and where you're going to get your discount entry. Because let's say you entered anywhere along this discount level. Look at where we are now compared to that discount level. We're talking about $7.06 to $21. That is a beautiful entry. So you might have got in a little too early, a little too late, depending on where you got in at. But at the end of the day, it's still a really nice entry. So I really love the discount level there. And if we start changing the point at which we started our measurement, let's say we get up in the real crevices right here, right? Look where this swing low is. It's in the crevices, like just hiding. Look at this. And I used it as a retracement measurement. And look, you get the same thing. The 2 level is basically serving as the discount level now, right? Love that. Let's see if we can catch. Let me take this out for a second. So you got these swing lows in the crevices here. Yeah, it's beautiful. So that's what I would be looking at and waiting for a nice, entry point, because they teetered along the discount level. Look at that. Boom, rejected a couple times. You got boom, manipulated above, came down. Boom, manipulated above, came down. Shot up past it, right? So you got this. You got that right there. They broke past that, and then they came back down below it to get their last little bit of refuel, right? You got some fair value gaps in here. You got a fair value gap right there on the weekly, which provides for beautiful support here. So they dig down into this for a while. They created it in May of 2023. Dig down into it November of 2023. Teetered on the top of it. Dig down into some more. July 2024 to get that last bit of supply, right? They bought up this supply, which shows that there was demand for that supply right here, and then it shot up as a result after that. So, in my opinion, right now, it looks like SoFi is going to address all-time highs. You can draw this trend line here, which will also show you that we've broken out of a critical area, right? Because look at this trend line from all-time highs to another important swing high here. This is not a full exhaustive analysis. These are just things that I'm looking at as I'm looking at like the bigger picture of SoFi. And look at that trend line. Look how that trend line holds up. You get 1, 2. I mean, there's a couple different places you could draw a trend line. So that doesn't have to be your 1, 2, right? You can do a couple different trend lines, right? See that? You can even this. You can see they came, popped up above this. That could have been your entry. You still would have had to sit through some more consolidation, but it's it ain't bad, right? You could have drew a trend line here. It just all depends on when you're entering the market and when you want to participate in the particular asset. So I think we're going to address all-time highs again, in my honest opinion, because we're not too far off. We're at 22. All-time highs sitting up there at like 20, 28 something. So let's see. On that pop-up, once we broke this critical swing high right here, that sits out like a sore thumb in all this consolidation. they went and made another critical swing high right here, and we just broke that. So they're probably, they broke that. Probably going to get some reprieve to juice back up and then take off again. So let's see here. That leg. All right. So look, from that important swing high there down to right here. How much time? I measured from here, my starting point down to here. We get a retrace of levels back up. Your discount level shows right here, right? So this would be, it all depends on where you got it on the move, but that's where I would be looking to take profit because it's going to contest these highs up here. You see how that measurement gave us a retrace discount level that also aligned with these previous critical swing highs here, right? And then your 2 level is going to be right there, sweeping your all-time highs. So once we sweep those all-time highs, we're going to get a pretty strong reprieve or retracement, probably back down. I don't know. I'd have to measure to see where we would want to come back down to. And then they're probably going to go and take off to new heights from there. So take all of this off. We'll do some more analysis on SoFi and then just see how things pan out. Right? You can do your trend line here. Looks like we just broke above. Look at that. Look at all these taps or just close hits, right? We came close right here. These two areas. And then we finally breached it, closed above on the weekly. This is the second time we've closed above this level on the weekly. That's confirmation. They're probably going to manipulate down, come down probably into this fair value gap right here to get some juice, and then continue back up. But it all depends on how low they want to go. They could, let's see, realistically, they could come down to the 7min30sec level here. There's a lot of different levels that they can touch. There's a lot of fair value gaps, bullish fair value gaps in this area. So it really all depends on how low they want to go. I would have to do some more like in-depth analysis to really say what I believe and where I think it's going to go and what I anticipate and all that stuff. So SoFi is looking pretty good. They look like they're on the up and up. We got this nice incline now after doing a bunch of sell-off from investors and seed investors and all that stuff, taking their profit and getting their investment back. And now we're finally on the up and up. So probably some big players came into the stock and is giving it some real reassurance. And they're probably making a lot of money off of the loans they're issuing and all that stuff, student loans, so on and so forth. So that's kind of my, kind of a brief analysis of SoFi. We'll come back to it. We'll put some price targets to tag and see how things pan out. I appreciate it, y'all. Remember, like, comment, share, subscribe. My Cash App is Mind Dialogue. That's MINEDIALOGUE. Email is minddialogue.business@gmail.com. I appreciate y'all. Have a great day on purpose. Love.